College of Engineering, College of Information Technology, Open University System, yung mga nasa Finance Services, mga nasa HR, College of Management, Planning and Development Office, Quality Assurance, the Supply Office, the Medical and Dental Health Services. Andyan na rin po sila. Let us now sit back and relax and continue with our webinar. So let me show you this graphical representation of our attendance. So we already have received 38 responses. 341 from the Mid La Union campus and 43 coming from the Open University System. So ito po yung mga nag-fill up ng attendance. And to those who haven't filled up yet the form, you can still access the link. Open pa po yung link. I will just post it once again for your reference. Yan na po, nakapost na po. From CAS also, College of Arts and Sciences. Andito na rin po sila. It is exactly 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So welcome once again to the resumption of the webinar on occupational safety and health of the Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University. Let me introduce to you our resource person for Module 5 and 6. A short introduction only. He is the University Occupational Safety and Health Officer. He is also the DRRM Officer of the South La Union Campus. He is a certified Safety Officer 1. Let us all welcome our presenter for this afternoon session, Mr. Jigger A. Pre. So, palakpakan natin si Sir Jigger.
So namin. I hope mapantayan ko yung enthusiasm noong dalawang speakers natin kaninang umaga. They were very lively, the person of Sir Nap and Sir Randy. Dapat sila pala nga yung hapon kasi medyo alanganing oras ngayon. So dapat nagpalit pala kami kanina. Anyway, so I have 2 modules remaining. Sandali lang itong module 5 and 6. It will take me 1 hour to discuss this one. So allow me to start with the Joint Memorandum Order or Joint Memorandum Circular number 1 series of 2020. Ito po yung guidelines ng occupational safety and health for the public sector. Yung mga diniscuss kanina ni Sir Nap and Sir Randy, most of these concepts were based doon sa Republic Act 11058. Okay, so as mentioned by Sir Nap kanina, na yung 11058 hindi covered ang public sector. So ito yung counterpart na excuse me. Ito yung counterpart na legal framework na pinoprovide ng government para sa atin na nasa public sector. Okay, so ang official title niya is Occupational Safety and Health Standards for the Public Sector. Now, tignan natin yung, very briefly, let's look at the objectives of the guidelines. So this guideline on occupational safety and health standards for the public sector is aimed at protecting all government employees from the dangers of injury, sickness, or death in the workplace through the adoption of safe and healthy working conditions to ensure the preservation of human lives and resources and prevent loss or damage of properties. Kanina, yung mga nabanggit kanina, ang background noong mga discussion kaninang umaga ay industry-based or general industry, yung mga maaring mga relatives natin na nagtatrabaho dun sa mga companies or any industry for that matter, ay protected siya ng Republic Act 11058. Since tayo na nasa government, we are also considered as workers. So mayroon din tayong karapatan for a safe and healthy workplace. Kaya ito yung nagagaranti yung Joint Memorandum or Circular from the CSCDOH and DOLE. Now, please allow me to proceed to Section 5. Okay, ito yung provision for reasonable working conditions. Okay, dinidescribe dito yung workplace ng public sector. So, included dito yung building premises na dapat mayroong adequate fire, emergency, or danger signs. Okay, kaya nga yung recently na audit ng ating ISO auditors, ang napansin nila sa campuses natin, wala tayong assembly point or evacuation assembly point. Kaya basic po yun sa isang physical plant na mayroong signages for these areas na pwedeng puntahan during emergencies. Okay? Kailangan din ang workplace may facilities for persons with disabilities. Okay? They must be provided for their safe and convenient movement within the establishment or agency. Okay? Nice thing i-emphasize yung good housekeeping. By the way, why do we have to promote good housekeeping? Ang susunod kasi sa good housekeeping, ang pinoprotect natin doon is safety. Naayos natin yung paligid para safe yung paligid as our work environment. Okay? So, building construction and maintenance, kasama din dyan. Dapat yung mga space requirement, walkway surface, floor, and wall openings, they must conform to the provisions of the OSH standard. Included din dyan yung quality ng air and yung provision for personal protective equipment. Okay, makikita ninyo na paramihan dun sa ating mga kasama sa general services, they are working without personal protective equipment. Now, kaninong responsibility ang mag-provide ng personal protective equipment? It is the administration. So, dapat meron silang kaakibat or ginagamit na personal protective equipment. Okay? So, now let me proceed to emergency preparedness. So, we are very thankful na dahil dito sa guideline na ito, meron tayong provision on emergency preparedness. Ito yung basis ko for my discussion on the next module. Pinoprovide ng Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Act of 2010 na ang public sector, more specifically government agencies, ay mayroong dapat disaster risk reduction and management plan. Okay? So initially, nag-create na ang university ng DRRM committee. Yung DRRM committee ang magpo-formulate ng corresponding DRRM plans per campus. So yun ang magiging basis natin ng ating risk reduction and management system sa campus. We are also mandated to conduct trainings and drills. So this is part of our compliance doon sa training. Dapat din tayo magkaroon ng drills. Ano ba yung mga drills na usually kinakandak natin? We have earthquake drill every quarterly. Okay? We have fire drill na dapat documented. Okay? We also are required to have emergency supplies such as fire extinguishers. Every time na lang nadidiscuss yung fire extinguisher pag may accreditation, ng fire extinguisher. Ngayon, ISO accreditation naman, kailangan din ng fire extinguisher. So aside from fire extinguishers, dapat may mga first aid kits sa ating mga offices. And nire-require din na yung mga first aider must be trained by the Philippine Red Cross. Okay? So, ano naman yung mga minimum OSH programs na kinakailangang ipatupad ng ating university? Okay? As listed here, dapat meron tayong Occupational Accident and Illness Prevention Program, Medical Services Assistance and Rehabilitation Program, Occupational Accident and Illness Surveillance Program, as well as Information and Education Campaign Program. Now, you will notice na yung service natin is Occupational Safety and Health. So, yung Occupational Safety, nasa domain yan ng Occupational Safety Officer. Yung health program, yan ay responsibility naman ng ating health services or ng ating medical services. Kailangan din natin ng support facilities, kagaya ng recreation areas, seminar or training rooms, daycare facilities, and drop-in centers. Ano ba itong drop-in center? Itong drop-in center, these are places wherein kung walang matuluyan yung isang tao, kailangan niya ng food, doon siya pwedeng mag-stay. We call that drop-in centers. Okay. Kinakailangan ding may mga good working atmosphere for pregnant women, older employees with special needs, differently abled employees, and yung mga employees natin na with limited working abilities. Okay. So, i-highlight ko lang po yung mga... Okay, so, let's proceed to the heads of government agencies. Ano ba yung kinakailangang ibigay ng ating mga administrators? Okay. So, rundown po natin. Number 1, provide a reasonable working condition. Number 2, ensure the conduct of occupational safety awareness. So ito, ginagawa na natin po itong occupational safety awareness. Comply with the requirements of OSH standards. Provide personal protective equipment at no cost to the worker. Yan. So, dapat yung mga general services natin ay makareceive ng personal protective equipment na dapat nasa standard yung kanyang quality. Establish and adopt policies on safety peculiar to its environment. Appoint or designate a safety officer. Okay, meron na po tayong safety officer. And na-organize na rin po natin yung Safety and Health Committee ng university. Okay? So, actually 1 week old pa lang po yung ating Safety and Health Committee. Now, ano pa yung ibang responsibilities ng Safety and Health Committee? Kinakailangan mag-provide ng annual report and documentation. Okay? Isasubmit natin ito kasama dun sa annual report ng university. Provide emergency medical services for all employees for occupational-related accidents, injury, illness, and or death. So, wala tayong problema dito kasi meron tayong sariling medical unit. Number 10, ensure that institutional contractors or service providers have functional OSH policy and program. Ito yung mga pumapasok sa university, for instance, yung mga nagko-construct. So meron ng authority yung school na magsabi dun sa mga contractors na ito na kinakailangan meron silang OSH policy pag magtatrabaho sila dito sa school. So yung safety officer ng campus, makikipag-coordinate siya dun sa safety officer ng contractor to see to it that occupational safety and health is observed. Okay. Next is, ano naman yung responsibilities ng government employees? Okay, tayo ito. Number 1, cooperate with the agency in carrying out the provisions of these guidelines and report to the Safety and Health Committee any work hazard that may be observed. So, meron tayong mechanism wherein yung employee, pag meron siyang na-observe na unsafe act, unsafe condition, pwede niyang i-report yan sa administration para ma-solusyonan. Okay? Another responsibility of a government employee, follow all instructions on work safety given by the agency in compliance with provision of the standards, and make use of all safeguard and safety devices provided by the agency. Participate, cooperate with the Safety and Health Committee on OSH programs, initiatives, and activities. And lastly, to support government agencies in the conduct of health and safety inspection or other programs. Okay, so dito naman sa Safety and Health Committee, sino ba yung members ng Safety and Health Committee? Yung Safety and Health Committee ng university is chaired by the Vice President for Administration. Okay, sino yung mga members? Yung ating HR, University HR, yung faculty at saka non-teaching association president, yung ating director ng medical services, at saka yung ating BRRM coordinator ng university. Yung Occupational Safety and Health Officer, siya ang magiging secretary. Okay. Pero in our case, we have included yung mga counterparts ng university officials doon sa mga operating units. Meaning, lahat ng campuses at operating units ay represented din doon sa University Safety and Health Committee. The procedure on self-inspection, investigation, and review. This is Section 8. Any employee or representative of employees or any concerned person who believes that a violation of any of the provision of these standards threatens physical well-being, harm, or poses imminent danger to life may submit a request to address the issue or concern along with a narrative report regarding the violations. Isasubmit niya ito doon sa grievance committee ng university. So in short, kung meron tayong na-observe na kinakailangang i-address ng administration that poses harm or danger to life, maaari tayong magbigay or i-inform yung grievance committee. Okay, so for Section 19, reporting requirements and records keeping. So ito, sinasabi dito na ang records ng work-related accidents, injuries, or illnesses in the workplace. So sino ang magkikip ng record? Yung ating Human Resource Office. So dati hindi tayo nagre-record, di ba? Wala tayong record kung may mga incidents ng injuries or illnesses na nangyayari sa workplace. But as a result of this memorandum, kinakailangan nating i-record. Now, where the accident or illness results in death or permanent total disability, a report must be submitted within 24 hours after its occurrence to the Health and Safety Committee and the head of the agency. So, kinakailangan ma-report within 24 hours sa Health and Safety Committee or sa President kung mayroong namatay as a result of accident or illness dito sa ating university. Okay? So, monitoring and evaluation. 10. So, agencies shall include in its annual report their compliance with this joint memorandum circular provide copies for the Civil Service Commission. So, kinakailangan nating i-document lahat ng activities natin sa OSH para ma-include yan dun sa annual report ng ating university na ibibigay sa Civil Service Commission. And lastly, itong administrative justice mechanism. Okay. So, heads, officials, and employees of government agencies who violate these guidelines shall be subject to administrative disciplinary action. So pursuant to Section 50, Rule 10 of the 2017 Rules on Administrative Cases in the Civil Service. So, maaring kasuhan ang mga opisyal ng school kung mayroong pagpapabaya so far as protecting occupational safety and health. Okay, so yun po yung rundown natin ng ating Joint Memorandum Circular number 1. This was actually approved and rendered effective on March 4. Yan, bago pa yung pandemic. Kaya very recently rin din na i-hand ito sa university. That's why immediately na-create yung University Safety and Health Committee. So ito yung first activity or project actually ng University Safety and Health Committee. Okay, so you can download this sa website po ng Department of Labor and Employment. So if you want, I can also email this to the record section kasi ito mayroon na, nagawan ko na siya ng bookmarks, mas madali na siyang basahin. Okay, now let me proceed to my next topic, which is on workplace emergency preparedness. Okay, Module 5 is on workplace emergency preparedness. Okay, ito yung ating module objectives. At the end of the presentation, the participants should be able to define emergency preparedness, discuss the importance of emergency preparedness, enumerate the steps in emergency planning. So, an emergency poses an immediate risk of significant harm to health, life, property, or the environment. Preparing for emergencies is an important part of workplace health and safety program. Tignan nga muna natin kung ano ba ang meaning ng emergency. So, ito na yung pinakasimpleng definition ng emergency. It is a serious, unexpected, and often dangerous situation requiring immediate action. These are some common types of emergencies. May mga nabanggit kanina. We have fires or explosions na maaring mangyari rin dito sa ating university. Medical emergencies, severe weather, earthquakes, major power failures. Pag major power failure, nag-blackout or nag-brown out, emergency na ba siya? If we are going back dun sa definition natin, maaring hindi siya dangerous situation, pero serious siya. Okay? Serious situation. Maaring masabotahe yung ating mga trabaho kung walang kuryente. So, yun ang ibig sabihin po nito. Hazardous material spill. Common din ito sa school kasi may mga laboratories tayo na nag-i-store ng mga hazardous materials. So these are samples of common types of emergencies. Ano naman ang meaning ng emergency preparedness? The term refers to the steps you take to make sure you are safe before, during, and after an emergency. Okay, so ang reference natin dito ay yung emergency. So anything na ginagawa mo bago pa mangyari yung emergency, or habang nangyayari yung emergency, or pagkatapos ng emergency, is part and parcel of your emergency preparedness. Bakit ba natin kinakailangang mag-prepare for emergencies? Why prepare for emergencies? 1, to keep employees and responders free from harm. Pag may emergency, at hindi tayo prepared sa setup natin sa school, maaring maapektuhan yung ating mga employees. Yung mga responders, kung hindi rin sila prepared sa isang emergency, maaari rin silang ma-expose sa harm. For instance, hindi sila trained. Nag-respond sila pero hindi sila trained. Wala silang experience. Gusto lang nilang makatulong. They may be exposed to harm. Another, we prepare for emergencies to manage life-threatening situations. Okay, siguro some of our senior faculty and staff na-experience noong 1990 yung malakas na earthquake. So noon, wala pang disaster management or emergency preparedness sa school. That's why kanya-kanya yung response. This is an example of a life-threatening situation wherein yung mga nandito sa school ay maaring ma-expose sa hazard. Kaya, kung prepared yung isang institution, maaari niyang i-manage itong mga life-threatening situations. Another, minimize damage to the environment, equipment, machinery, tools, and etc. So, di ba, ang emergency preparedness, maaring ito yung mga activities before an emergency. Example natin dito, kapag nagtatrabaho yung mga kasama natin sa general services, nagkakaroon ba sila ng meeting? Anong tinatawag na toolbox meeting? Wherein doon dinidiscuss nila kung ano yung gagawin nila, ano yung kanilang safety protocols, paano nila gagamitin yung kanilang tools and equipment para maiwasan yung injuries. Okay? Then, we also prepare for emergencies to minimize downtime. Okay, siguro ito sa school, we do not make use of the term downtime. Ang gumagamit ng downtime, yung nasa manufacturing. Kapag nagkaroon ng emergency, ibig sabihin, titigil yung kanilang ginagawa, hindi sila makakapag-produce. Ito naman sa institution natin, saan naman natin ito maihahalin tulad? Example natin dito is yung pandemic. So, kung prepared sana ang gobyerno, siguro, hindi ganun katagal yung lockdown. Okay? So, yung lockdown, maihahalin tulad natin yun as downtime natin. Okay? So, what are the elements of an emergency management program? There are 4 elements. First is prevention. Okay? Ano yung mga included sa prevention? Prevention, policies and procedures to minimize the occurrence of emergencies. Okay? Prevention is also referred to as maaring mitigation. Kung hindi mo man ma-prevent, ma-mitigate mo yung effect ng isang occurrence of emergency. So, pwedeng i-prevent. Pero hindi lahat ng emergency ay pwedeng ma-prevent. Preparation. Okay? These are activities and procedures to make sure an organization is ready to effectively respond. Okay? Ibig sabihin nito, alam natin na maaring tumama yung isang emergency or isang hazard. O kaya, alam natin na tatamaan na tayo ng isang hazard. Pero, since prepared tayo, we can readily or effectively respond. Response. Okay. Third is response. This is the act. Tumama na. Alam natin yung ating gagawin. We are trained. Okay, nagdi-drill tayo. Alam natin yung situation, kung paano siya manage. Then, last, dun sa elements ng emergency management is yung recovery. So, these are practices to resume normal business operations. Okay, so yun yung 4. Prevention, preparation, response, and recovery. Now, let's proceed to the 6 steps to emergency planning. Okay, so there are 6 steps. First is establish the planning team. Okay. The representatives from all departments and levels with support from senior management is most effective. Ito actually nasa stage na tayo nito. Kasi naka-establish na tayo ng campus, disaster risk reduction, and management committee. Okay? Na-proven na yung creation ng committee, na-proven na rin yung creation ng campus emergency response team, yung designation ng campus disaster risk reduction and management officer, at saka yung campus safety officer. So na-establish na yon. Meron na tayong mga legal basis para sa establishment ng mga positions na yon. Next is, pag meron ka ng planning team, na assess the risks and institutional capacities. Na-discuss kanina ito, yung risk assessment. Ano ba yung mga hazard na nakaamba? Ano ba yung mga emergencies na maaring ma-experience yung institution? Okay? Ano ba yung capabilities ng institution? Meron ba tayong trained personnel? Meron ba tayong resources na gagamitin in case of emergency? So part yan ng ating assessment. Next is step 3. Pag na-assess na yung risks at saka yung capacities ng ating institution, magpo-proceed dun sa development of emergency response plan. Okay? So dito sa emergency response plan, nakalagay na lahat dyan ng emergency plan ng university. Okay? Next, number 4, implement the plan. So kung meron na tayong disaster risk reduction and management plan, pwede na nating i-implement yung plan kung tumama yung isang hazard or magkaroon ng emergency. Okay? So part din ng implementation ng plan yung ating procurement ng equipment, kung ano yung mga kailangan natin, communicate, ibig sabihin, paano natin i-extend or i-communicate yung plan sa lahat ng stakeholders sa university, and part din yung training ng ating mga personnel. Okay? Then number 5 is test the plan. Paano natin i-test yung plan? So, nag-usap-usap na tayo na ito yung gagawin natin. Paano ngayon natin yun ipapractice? By holding drills or simulation exercises. Ang nangyayari kasi usually, kapag nationwide simultaneous earthquake drill, doon lang tayo nagpa-participate sa drill. Pero we do not actually execute our own plans. Then last is, improve the plan continuously. Yung plan kasi, it is a living document. Habang tumatagal, dapat nag-a-adapt din siya or nagbabago din siya. Okay? So what's in a written response plan? Ano ba yung mga content dapat ng isang response plan? First is scope and outline potential emergencies. Paano natin ito makukuha as a result ng ating risk assessment? So, in our setup, sa 3 campuses, magkakaroon ng kanya-kanyang hazard, risk, vulnerability, and capacity assessment per campus. So, i-outline nila yung kanilang mga possible emergencies doon sa kanilang mga communities. What else? Alarms and other methods of initiating a response. Ito, wala pa tayo nito, yung protocol for alarms. Sa mga colleges natin, ginagamit yung fire alarm, yung electric bell, ginagamit siya to signify, ano yung sinisignify niya? Yung end ng period or yung recess. Dapat yung fire alarm, ginagamit lang siya to signify fire. Hindi na siya pwedeng gamitin sa ibang purpose. Otherwise, makukonfuse yung mga nandun sa building. So, pag nag-drill tayo, ginamit natin yung fire alarm. Then, pag ordinary situation, pag sinabi nating mag-move na yung mga ibang tao doon sa, or no, students from one period to another, isa-sound off na naman yung electric bell. So, makukonfuse yung mga nandun. So, kung fire alarm siya, gagamitin lang siya for fire. What else? Site-specific response procedures. Okay. For instance, anyway, halos pare-pareho naman yung campus natin kung ano yung kanilang location. Ibig sabihin nito, kung iba yung location mo, maaring iba yung iyong mga procedures. Then, we also have command structure, roles and responsibilities. Kapag nagkaroon ba ng isang massive earthquake, for instance, tumama ang isang 7.2 earthquake dito sa La Union, at nagkagulo sa lahat ng campuses ng school, sino ba ang mag-i-in charge dun sa campus? Yung chancellor ba? Okay. Ano yung mga roles and responsibilities ng ating mga faculty, ng ating staff? Dapat elucidated lahat yun, dapat clear lahat yun sa ating mga plans para kapag tumama yung emergency, maliwanag kung ano yung magiging structure as well as yung roles and responsibilities ng bawat isa. Can you just imagine kung walang structure during an emergency situation? Paano natin i-manage yung libu-libong tao na nasa loob ng campus? Evacuation and assembly procedures. So, kailangang maliwanag din ito. Meron tayong clear na evacuation plan, naka-indicate din siya kung kailan tayo magpuproceed dun sa evacuation area or kung ano yung ating mga assembly procedures. Okay, so very clear din dapat doon sa ating DRRM plan itong mga ito. Communication systems and protocols. Okay. Paano tayo magko-communicate sa bawat isa? Kataong merong emergency. So ano yung gagamitin natin? Radyo, gagamit tayo ng telephone. Okay, those arrangements, dapat maliwanag din yon. Emergency contact lists. Sino usually yung content ng emergency contact lists? For the incident management team, nandyan dapat yung mga local resources kagaya ng DRRM office ng munisipyo, the local government unit, Philippine National Police, listahan ng hospital. Okay, so dapat meron tayo niyan. Pag sa ating mga constituents naman, mga estudyante, for instance, dapat merong person to contact in case of emergency. And lastly, yung resource lists. Bakit natin kailangan ng resource list doon sa ating disaster management plan? Para makita natin kung meron ba tayong gagamitin. Sino ang naka-in charge doon sa resource na yon? Paano natin siya i-acquire? Or paano natin siya i-control? Kaya ang university, napakarami niyang resources. In case of an emergency, actually, pwede tayong mag-respond sa labas ng community. Okay, so...
Excuse me, Sir Jigs.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, paki-change yung view ng presentation mo kasi naka-presenter view ka.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yan, okay na? Wait.
Updating, sir. Wait.
Pero, wait. Yung ko na lang i-share ko. Dali. Yung isang...
Yon, okay, sir.
Okay na?
Yes, sir, okay na.
Okay. So, nasan na ako? As an employee, kita ba ako? As an employee, ano yung mga mahalagang dapat nating malaman? As an employee, it is important that we know how to identify common types of emergencies. Na-discuss na kanina ito. Okay. We also have to know how to respond if you encounter a situation. Okay? As faculty members or as persons in authority or as government workers, lalong-lalo na sa atin na school, meron tayong duty and responsibility sa ating mga students na kapag may emergency, hindi natin sila pababayaan. Okay? Respond when an emergency alarm is activated. So kapag narinig natin yung fire alarm, kahit na drill siya or kahit na false alarm siya, we have to respond accordingly. Okay? Hindi yung mag-hesitate tayo na, ano ba yon? Drill ba yon o totoo? Okay. What else? Ask the administration for more information and training. So this is part of our information. Now, in the future, we will be organizing more trainings when it comes to emergency response. Okay. Hindi nag-update. Isa lang. Okay, so this is the next part of my presentation, yung ating Campus Emergency Response Team or CERT. Noong last year, na-organize na namin yung Campus Emergency Response Team dito sa South La Union Campus. And this year, we have proposed na i-organize din siya doon sa buong university. That's why, meron po tayong memorandum from the Office of the President, Memorandum number 2020-031A, which was issued noong June 22. Nakalagay dito sa memo yung creation ng campus, college, and unit emergency response teams. So ito yung basis natin ng creation ng emergency response team. Ano ba yung objectives ng campus emergency response team? Number one is to ensure the safety and security of personnel, students, and the general public in the school community. Number two, to establish trained and competent volunteers composed of faculty, staff, and students. Firstly, to establish means of responding to emergencies in the campus and provide relevant emergency services. And yung number four, to render voluntary service in the community during times of emergency and disaster. Yan. Okay, so yun po yung objectives ng Campus Emergency Response Team. Okay, so let's look at the organizational structure ng CERT. The Campus Emergency Response Team shall be under the direct control and supervision of the Campus Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Officer or the Campus DRRM Officer. So, siya yung mag-head noong CERT. It shall be composed of the following operating teams or operating units. Meron siyang search and rescue, meron siyang fire evacuation team. Bawat unit or bawat team na ito is headed by a unit leader. Yung unit leader, ito yung mag-describe of operating team. Okay. Ano yung ating standard operating procedure ng CERT? First is activation. Okay, activation. Yan. So, kailan ma-activate yung Campus Emergency Response Team? The CERT is activated upon determination that there is an emergency in the campus. Sino magdi-determine dyan? maaring yung chancellor, maaring yung campus DRRM officer, or any competent authority dun sa campus. Pag na-determine na mayroong emergency dun sa campus, an incident management team shall be organized and an incident command post shall be established. Okay? The incident command system shall be used in managing any emergency situation in the campus. For instance, nagkaroon ng isang earthquake. So malakas yung earthquake. Kinakailangan mag-evacuate yung ating mga tao doon sa campus. So, meron ng emergency sa campus. I-activate ngayon ng chancellor yung campus emergency response team. Paano niya i-activate? Maaaring tawagan niya yung in charge. Yan. Then yung in charge naman, i-assemble niya ngayon yung campus emergency response team. Next. So kapag na-activate na sila, may emergency, upon activation, operating teams immediately report to their supervisors. Yung supervisors nila, ito yung unit leaders. And prepare for deployment. So for instance, ako sa search and rescue, magre-report ako doon sa team leader ko sa search and rescue. Units shall report to the designated staging area. Ano ba itong staging area? Itong staging area, this is a pre-arranged area in yung mga operating elements ay mag-re-report. Doon sila magkikita-kita staging area. Or maaari rin doon sa incident command post, yan, or the ICP. Then doon nila hihintayin yung assignment nila. Okay? So assignment shall be determined by the incident commander. Okay. Ano ba yung mga duties and responsibilities ng ating deployed personnel? Ensure safety of responders and the general public. Protect life, property, and the environment during emergencies. Conduct emergency operations as determined by the incident commander. Okay. Sino naman ang in charge? Okay, meron kang chancellor, meron kang incident commander. Ano ba yung structure natin? The incident command system shall be used in managing any emergency situation in the campus. Authority rests on the chancellor. Okay, yung chancellor, ang tawag natin sa kanya ay yung siya ang responsible official. Kasi siya ang highest official doon sa ating campus. Incident management shall be the responsibility of the incident commander designated by the chancellor. Okay? Command and control shall be exclusively exercised by the incident management team. So kung sino yung mga designated na members ng incident management team, sila yung mag-exercise ng command and control. Hindi necessarily na yung chancellor ang mag-uutos. Kasi merong tayong incident management team. Insofar as managing the incident, trabaho yun ng incident management team. Okay? Deployed personnel should follow the chain of command established by the IMT. Okay? So yun po. Next, command and control. Logistics, how about yung mga resources? All resources in the campus shall be made available in response to any emergency situation. Okay? Requests shall be coursed through the Chancellor's office for approval and forwarded to the particular office for action. Siyempre, yung mga gagamitin sa emergency, ipapaalam yan. Kung nasa ibang office naka-deploy, pwedeng i-call out, ipapaalam yun sa Chancellor, then saka i-acquire yung resources. During planning, actually, ina-identify na yung mga emergency resources. Naka-identify na sila. Ngari, yung mga personnel, yung mga sasakyan na pwedeng gamitin, equipment, kits and supplies. Itong mga identified emergency resources na ito, dala-dala na ito ng mga personnel kapag nag-report sila doon sa designated staging area. Okay? So, for instance, nag-declare ng emergency yung chancellor, na-activate yung CERT. Pagka-activate ng CERT, di ba, magre-report yung mga elements dun sa unit leaders. Dadalhin na ngayon ng mga responders yung mga identified emergency resources. So, dadalhin nila yun dun sa staging area. Para anytime, pwede na silang ma-deploy. Meron na silang gagamitin. Okay, ito naman yung ating alert status. Okay, so this is our campus alert status. Meron tayong tinatawag na blue alert. Okay, it signifies a low level of alert status. Ano ba yung condition kapag blue, code blue? Yan. Good condition. Yan. So ano yung response dapat ng ating mga responders? Be alert. Then, next is yellow. Kailan nagkakaroon ng code yellow? Okay? When there is less than ideal condition. Okay? Ano naman ang dapat na response for this condition? Be prepared for worsening conditions. We also have orange. Orange, code orange. Ang condition natin dito is potentially dangerous conditions. Okay, naka-high alert na tayo kapag orange. Ano yung response? Ito, naka-alert or naka-activate na yung response team for possible emergency. Usually, kapag naka-high alert, yung members ng campus emergency response team, nandun na sila sa staging area o kaya nandun sila sa headquarters kung meron silang headquarters. Naka-high alert. Then, kung extreme and dangerous ang condition, yan, code red, meaning critical na yung ating alert status. It is during this time na naka-deploy or na-mobilize na yung ating emergency response team. Okay? Kailan natin practically, i-apply natin to practically. For instance, may mga events. Kasi yung ating alert status, hindi lang yan ginagamit during emergencies. Pwede rin siyang gamitin during events. For instance, graduation. Yan, maraming tao. Okay. So, pwedeng erase ng chancellor or ng DRRM officer yung ating alert status to yellow or even orange. So, pag na-raise yung code orange, ibig sabihin, naka-ready na yung response team. Yan. Ready na yung response team. Yun ang ibig sabihin niya. Next is our communications. Ano naman yung ating communication arrangement? Paano tayo mag-uusap kung mayroong emergency? So upon activation, the CERT shall immediately use emergency communication protocols. Okay? Usually ito, in-establish ito during